In the shadow of the Statue of Liberty, the U.S. Army station at Fort Wood, New York, which broadcasts radio instruction and entertainment. The interest in radio may be judged by this photograph, taken after a meeting of the Radio Club of America, at which E. H. Armstrong revealed the secrets of his super-regenerative circuit. Naval radio operators on duty in the receiving hut of the Navy's Trans-Pacific High-Power Station at Cavite, Philippine Islands. A scout troop in an English school being taught the construction and use of the radiophone. There are very few scout troops in America as well supplied with radio equipment as these boys are. Radio broadcasting is finding its way into India, where it is thought the new science will materially reduce the tendency toward revolt. A family party. Some boys get the radio fever when very young. Phoning home from mid-ocean. Captain Rind of the SS America has been heard phoning home by nearly every amateur from Maine to Florida. The radio room on the SS America. Through the complex circuits in this room, incoming and outgoing voice currents pass simultaneously. There is some excuse for mentioning the call letters and name of a particularly good station which conducts only the better sort of programs, even though it is owned by some commercial company. This is KPO, Hale Brothers Department Store, San Francisco. A station may be made valuable to the operators without grating on the nerves of listeners in. Arthur Batchelor, U.S. radio inspector in charge of the 2nd District, keeps a close watch on the ether. Mr. Jones, meet Mr. Smith. He is the man who knows all about the so-and-so company. At these magic words, the radio department ceases to function. The sale was made the instant the salesman placed the desired unit in the customer's hand. Transmitting market quotations from the Chicago Board of Trade through a microphone to Westinghouse station KYW, operating the latter automatically. Ticker quotations of the Chicago Board of Trade posted here, and the radio operator is in a position to note every price change promptly. A class at Lane Technical High School studying radio. This school not only teaches radio, but instructs pupils in how to manufacture their own instruments, and boasts the Pioneer Boys Radio Club. Once searchlights, now loudspeakers. These horns, used during the war to illuminate an English flying field, have been converted into amplifying horns for broadcast reception. The Chief Police Inspector's Office in New York City has been equipped with this powerful broadcasting station, which is being used to run down escaped convicts and other criminals. By cooperating with the police in other cities by radio, a huge network may be thrown over the entire country. The most critical of circuits does not intimidate the American youth, and wrinkles he is responsible for sometimes find their way into the design of commercial equipment. This boy made the 3-tube super-regenerative receiver he is operating. A boy built this outfit for $27.80. It is a 3-circuit regenerative receiver with a detector and 2-stage amplifier, and would cost between $100 and $130 if purchased ready-made. American boys in the Philippines are progressing very rapidly in acquiring real technique in homemade sets. They are handicapped somewhat by being so far from the source of supply and large broadcasting stations, but their work is already quite creditable. Santa Claus tells a Christmas story. There are 2 receivers. The upper one is used with the detector and 2 stages of audio frequency amplification for receiving, with nothing more than a ground connection. The lower set includes 3 stages of radio frequency amplification in addition, and is used for either ground or loop receiving. Chief Strongwolf, whose Indian name is Gayu Mawanda, is an eloquent speaker. Perhaps you have listened to one of his very convincing pleas for citizenship for the American Indian. Grantland Rice, who reported the World Series baseball games play-by-play. George T. Johnson is the chief of police at Pueblo, Colorado. He has established a police service between Denver, Colorado Springs, and Pueblo. Perhaps you would be as well pleased if the chief did not mention your name. Elmer E. Bucher finds time to send and receive now and again, despite his very busy life. He has written some of the most popular radio books and directs the sale of amateur equipment for the Radio Corporation of America. W.J. Roche operating the Tunit unit developed by himself and Herbert Pearson. During spare moments, when not developing receiving outfits, W.F. Deal, chief engineer of A.H. Grabe & Company, seeks enjoyment at Bayside, New York. His voice has been heard over the radiophone in nearly every state in the Union. Hello, 2XJ, KDOW calling. The voice of Chief Radio Officer F.G. Black of the SS America was heard in several thousand homes as the history-making radio telephone tests were carried on between that vessel and the Deal Beach, New Jersey station of the Western Electric Company. The man who speaks to you from WGY. Colin D. Hager is studio manager of the General Electric Company's broadcasting station, and thousands know his voice. In the Radio Club of Puerto Rico, a receiver of the character we are considering is employed to receive broadcasting from the United States and long-wave telegraphy from distant parts of the world. Remler tapped inductances are shown in the coil mountings. The Pioneer Boys radio class of the Philippines was recently greeted by Governor General Leonard Wood. These boys are credited with being the first in the islands to build their own sets. The Governor General is an enthusiastic booster for the boys, and has assured them of his assistance. A 3-tube super regenerative receiving outfit used by E.H. Armstrong at the Radio Club of America's meeting held in Columbia University. Signals from a loudspeaker were clearly heard over the entire auditorium. The organ at WOO. KSD's aerial on top of the Post-Dispatch building in St. Louis. The studio at WJZ, Newark, New Jersey, showing microphone stand in background. WHAZ, Rensselaer Polytechnic Station at Troy, New York. Another newspaper broadcasting station, WGM in Atlanta, Georgia. Radio Operator's Room on the Great White Fleet, SS Toloa. Radio Operator's Room on the SS Pastores. A corner of the KDYL operating room, Salt Lake City, Utah. Arlington, probably the best-known radio station in the world. All manner of new developments are tried out by the Navy at this station. Mariners listen for its time signals and weather reports the world over. Pearl Harbor, Hawaii. The U.S. Navy high-power station in mid-Pacific. It is not uncommon for experienced amateurs as far away as our eastern seaboard to copy messages from this giant. Cayey, Puerto Rico. The insular outpost of the Navy's high-power system. The U.S. Navy station at Peking, China. Operated by the U.S. Marines located at the American Legation Compound, which is within the famous 40-foot Tartar Wall. 2 of the towers are atop the wall. George Frost, the 18-year-old president of the Lane Technical Club, with a cup which he recently won at an exhibition. The Air Mail radio station in Washington. The antenna above the Edmonton Journal building in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. The interior of the Edmonton Journal's broadcasting station. Most of the transmitting and receiving equipment is of English manufacture. The receiving tubes, located on the panel at the right, are quite different in form from the American tubes, and the receiving set above them is also quite different from those we use. An important advance in radio transmission. Doctors W.R. Whitney and Irving Langmuir showing Mr. Marconi their new vacuum tube, which it is thought will revolutionize long-distance radio communication, eventually supplanting the high-frequency alternators. A 200-kilowatt high-frequency alternator, of the type used for transoceanic communication. Recent developments indicate that these huge machines may be supplanted by vacuum tubes. Radio station at Port Limon, headquarters of the United Fruit Company's Costa Rican division. The New Orleans radio station, showing its storehouse, operating house, generator house, and 4 320-foot tubular steel masts. The generator room of the New Orleans radio station, showing 2 40-kilowatt units. The radio station at Almirante, Panama, as it looked on April 1st of this year. The radio station at Santa Marta, Colombia, showing the powerhouse, operating house, and residence for employees. The 100 horsepower radio station at Santa Marta, Colombia. This view of the powerhouse shows two 50 horsepower kerosene oil engines, air compressor, exciter, a small radio set for ship work, and other machinery. Generator room on the SS Ulua. The motor generator may be seen in the foreground to the left. Directly behind it are the two banks of Edison storage batteries used for radio as well as lighting in emergency. To the right is the 2 kilowatt transmitting outfit, which is automatically controlled by switches located in the operating room.